Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this special meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Can we please have the roll call, Ms. Riska?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Zaraski?
Here.
Kroski?
Present.
Radke?
Present.
Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Yanez?
Here.
Mrs. Zerko?
Present.
Thank you, Council. We need approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. First item on our agenda today, and the only item today, I can't remember having a morning meeting before, so, is to consider a defense initiative interlocal agreement between the cities of Sterling Heights and Warren. We have a presentation from our Senior Economic Development Advisor, Luke Bonner. Mr. Bonner.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, Mr. Vanderpool and members of council. This is truly an exciting initiative, opportunity that we have to partner on a very significant economic development initiative with the city of Warren. The first time we've ever done anything like this. And we are very proud to introduce for your consideration this morning the Arsenal Alliance, which is a partnership, again, between the city of Sterling Heights and the city of Warren to focus on economic development associated with the defense and military industry here in Macomb County. And why are we actually here? Well, I think it's very, very important to note that this is even possible because of the existence of TACOM and GVSC in Warren, both of which combined have a significant amount of impact on the local economy and also on the state economy. The defense industry, specifically in Macomb, is a $60 billion plus industry if you really start looking at and adding up all of the defense contracts. Of all defense contracting that actually occurs in Michigan through multiple agencies, over 60% of that actually happens with Macomb County companies. 4,800 defense contracts were awarded in 2023. That's our most updated information that we had. The defense industry represents a $6.2 billion gross regional product. There have been $25 billion in defense contracts by 413 Macomb County businesses from 2010 to 2020. There have been $3.56 billion in defense contracts awarded in 2023. A lot of those, of course, going to BAE Systems, General Dynamics, American Rheinmetall, Oshkosh Truck, the local prime contractors, but those filter down to the suppliers as well. And another important note, I talked about a location quotient at the last budget hearing when it came to engineering. Well, the employment concentration and location quotient for military armored vehicles, tanks, and tank components is 4.26, which is a very significant demonstration of the expertise that we have here in the county related to that type of workforce. So that's why we are entering into this potential partnership, because of the impact the defense industry has here in Macomb County, Sterling Heights, and Warren. So in terms of an overview of the actual partnership agreement, we do anticipate a mutual cost sharing between the two cities for what we're calling consultants. That could be an individual or it could be an organization. So individual meaning how Velocity has been constructed over the last 2 years, where we have contracted with an individual within their additional contractors that were put together on that team. Or it could be a firm that specializes in the defense industry from a research and development standpoint, trade association, et cetera, that might be able to fulfill that role. We are anticipating a 5-member executive committee that's formed between the two communities that really sort of handle the minutia of the details of the contracting support, specifically for this effort. This provides an opportunity to really kind of have a centralized go-to group of experts focused on the defense industry every single day on behalf of both communities. We're looking at a 3-year term with options for future renewals, depending on the performance of the operation. And having both communities involved and engaged will present an opportunity for oversight and transparency of this effort. So we would be able to continually report out, what the effectiveness of both communities' investments would be. So some of the things that we look forward to getting out of this initiative are things such as, research and analysis. Research basically meaning, what do we actually have here in the region from an economic development cluster standpoint, strengths, assets, opportunities, even threats. We want to understand fully what the workforce looks like here, what are gaps that might be within that workforce. For example, the defense industry in particular is having a really difficult time filling careers based on AI. It's a quickly growing market, has a major impact on the military, and they need more talent to fill those roles. And then also, how do we stack up to other regions? I talked about Huntsville in our budget hearing. Huntsville is a main competitor, but that's not the only one. There are other hubs around the country that are starting to grow and want to compete for this defense investment and defense growth in their regions also. It'll be incredibly important for us through this effort to engage with stakeholders. So all of the other parties that are involved with the defense industry, TACOM, GVSC, the National Defense Industrial Association, the other economic development agencies, the academic institutions, to make sure whatever is put together fits well with what's existing, that we are not duplicating what other people are doing, but we are supportive and fit into the plans that everybody else has, and then also being able to establish those goals and measure the progress against that. In terms of what else we think is really important, there are a number of other defense-related organizations that are doing something around the industry. And I list a number of them here. Obviously, Macomb County and the state of Michigan are incredibly important partners in this. The National Advanced Mobility Consortium, which is actually located at Velocity, is a technology consortium focused on the defense industry. The Advanced Manufacturing and Commercialization Center is located in Sterling Heights. That is, they have the largest 3D printing machine there. It is defense focused also. Selfridge, the American Center for Mobility, which is actually located, which I actually have on here twice, I apologize, which is actually located in Ann Arbor, that does defense R&D as well as automotive R&D, that oddly enough, there are a lot of defense people here that don't even know that that exists. So again, a lot of assets in the region. How could this effort potentially play a role to start bringing all of these players together to collaborate? Workforce development, I talked about briefly on the AI careers. That's not the only one. Other engineering careers as well, just bringing awareness to these opportunities, identifying more workforce development training programs, and really kind of linking everything together. We don't see this as something where we're creating anything, but more of like creating awareness and bringing more parties to the table related to that. Advocacy is going to be incredibly important on our behalf, but also potentially on the military's behalf. Now, Macomb County does a really good job at this, working with federal legislators, telling the message about the defense industry in Michigan. To the extent we can support that, I think that would go a long way, because the defense industry itself can't really promote itself, right? So they need somebody else on the periphery to do that. So we think that's a potential opportunity here as well. Obviously, we want to market and promote everything that's going on here. We want to do that with federal elected officials, statewide officials, but also to other parts of the country, to defense contractors. We want to make sure that everyone knows what's going on here, what the opportunities are here. And lastly, I think if we do all of that right, then we clearly have an opportunity to create jobs here and attract more defense companies that are doing business with TACOM and GVSC, to attract those companies here as well. So with that, I'll be available for questions, and I'd like to introduce Jennifer Varney, who's going to do a budget overview related to this.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to go over this quick financial projection for the LDFA, because one of the questions may be, how are we paying for this and can we afford it? So this defense partnership, 50% of it is going to be paid out of the Local Development Finance Authority. And this chart is a 5-year projection of the revenue expenses for the LDFA. I won't go into great detail, but you can see at the top, it projects the revenues, which again are from tax capture in the district. So again, there is a tax capture, there's a base value set at the beginning of the LDFA, and then any increase in taxable value is captured. Because there's a smart zone within the LDFA, we're allowed to capture school taxes, which again, schools are made whole by the state of Michigan, and local taxes are also captured. You can see, about $2.5 million annually is captured about $2 million annually, and then the LDFA has other revenue through rent, primarily renting out Velocity. And then you can see the smart zone expenditures, and they're just so everyone is aware and is comfortable. This projection assumes some building improvements that have been discussed prior. And then you can see the defense partnership is highlighted there, $250,000 in the first year. And again, just assuming an inflationary increase each year. And then down at the bottom, it shows fund balance, or what would still be available for other improvements in the district over the 5-year period is still about $2 million. So that just means that after we pay for this, pay for running Velocity, there still would be about $2 million that could be invested in the district over the 5-year period. That's all I have.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Bonner?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Varney, Mr. Bonner. Then at this time, I'll go to the audience. Is there anyone who'd like to speak? Not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
resolve to approve the Defense Initiative interlocal agreement between the cities of Sterling Heights and Warren, authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion, Ms. Zarko?
I just have comments. I think that this agreement makes sense, and it's long overdue that we haven't brought the cities together in a commonality issue. And this definitely provides that issue, is defense. The defense corridor pretty much goes from TACOM to, 18 and a half? So I think it makes sense. It runs through both cities. I think it's a way to bring us together. And not only that, there's going to be other issues that will be coming up. And I really think that if we can bring the cities together, we can be a really big powerhouse in Southeast Michigan. We can make a difference in what goes on in the state. And actually, between the two populations, we'll be bigger than Grand Rapids. So I think I think this is just a good move, and it benefits both communities. I would like for you to explain how through the chair to Mr. Bonner, and explain the 5-member executive committee and how it will be set up.
Councilwoman Zarko, I'd like to defer to Mr. Vanderpool to discuss that,
Okay.
if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Zarko, so essentially the respective city councils will be able to appoint 2 members, presumably with some defense experience. In our case, I would imagine we will provide a short list, as we customarily do, for city council's consideration. You could take that under advisement. You may have other individuals beyond our ultimate forthcoming recommendation, but city council will appoint those 2 members. The city of Warren will do the same thing. And then the executive committee will appoint a neutral third party, thereby creating the 5-member executive board. So that will be one of the first orders of business, is creating the executive board, because you really can't get anything done until the executive board is created pursuant to the interlocal agreement. So that is how it would occur. Now the only exception or exclusion to the executive board would be there couldn't be any city elected officials on the executive committee, and that's on both sides.
Okay. I think we can explain that. The Warren City Council is meeting exactly at the same time we are, doing the same thing so that it all takes place at the same time, with a press conference to follow this afternoon at 1 o'clock. So nothing further. I think this is a good idea. And I'm glad we're doing it. And there's going to be something else in the future, I think, of manufacturing between the two communities. And we were talking informally this morning about some of these layoffs at Stellantis. We know that there's people in Sterling Heights that work in Warren and vice versa. So in the future, I think we're going to be able to help each other, and this is a good start with defense. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zarko. Council, anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
I just wanted to clarify what the city manager just said about their appointments. In reading the agreement that I have in front of me, the Warren City Council makes one appointment, the Warren mayor makes one appointment. We make 2 appointments, and then both city councils are approving the at-large appointment. That's what it says here. Reading it,
Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll ask the city attorney to clarify that, and I'll take another glance at it.
sure.
If I may. Mr. Mayor, yes, I was going to chime in, just waiting for everybody's comments. Mr. Radke's correct. It actually has a clause in it that says the 2 councils will jointly approve the at-large member, but I don't think Mr. Vanderpool is wrong necessarily in practice. I think that the 4 members may talk about who they might like to put forth as a candidate. So it's not mentioned in the agreement that they would appoint anybody, but I'm sure they will talk about perhaps potential candidates, and then both councils will ultimately have the final say together on the final 5th candidate.
Excellent. That's just what I wanted clarification on, because I wanted to make sure the agreement I'm looking at is the one we're approving right now. I think this is a tremendous opportunity. I think we could have handled this at last night's meeting. I don't know why we're having a special meeting for this, but I'm glad to work with the city of Warren. I mean, this is, I think, maybe one of the first in Macomb County's history, a partnership between 2 communities to really not just further our own goals, but to further the goals of the county, which is to expand manufacturing, expand the defense industry, and really share in joint prosperity. And I think that I want to credit the Warren City Council for being so willing, and the mayor, being so willing to work with us on this. I think this is going to be a standard for other municipalities across the state and how they can work together. Not even shared services. This is shared prosperity to really help us all. So I'm happy to vote in favor of this. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Radke. Mrs. Strauss.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Also some comments. I might have a question as I talk through this, but, being a military family, anything with defense, my ears perk up, and I really want to make sure I understand it correctly. And I'm very much in favor of, making sure our defense is strong, and how we make our defense strong is by the partners that contribute to it, so partly. So I'm glad to be a partner in that and to make sure that we're strengthening that partnership. Warren is our neighbor, and although we're different communities and we have sometimes different goals, the biggest goal is to promote our communities, promote our county, and also promote our state, and ultimately federally. I think that we do have really good partnership with the big influencers in both state and federal government, our elected officials there. They do understand that this is not only extremely important to the country, but it's extremely, extremely important to this particular region. And I'm glad that we're partnering. Partnerships always have some bumpies, but they're always good in the sense that people are coming together for one common goal. And the more that we can bring on board with this, I think the better. Glad to see that that the executive committee has a very good plan, or the plan to appoint the executive committee is a good plan, because it does make sure that we have all interested parties and areas well covered. Because as I said, Warren might have a few, we're not exactly the same, so it's good to have from both. So through the chair to Mr. Bonner, as far as that goes, have we heard from the state of Michigan in any fashion, and I'm talking about state government, not individuals, about this initiative?
Yes, we have. We actually wanted to make sure that as this was being formulated, that we met with the key stakeholders, being the MEDC or their Office of Defense and Aerospace Innovation, and also with Macomb County Planning and Economic Development and the Executive's Office. We wanted to make sure that we articulated this was something that we thought could support the efforts that they were currently doing. We wanted to be very clear that this was a partnership between the two cities because of the major assets that exist here. And in both cases, what we're proposing to do was welcomed by both entities. I'll also say this, that last week, the largest defense conference in Michigan, the Michigan Defense Expo, was held at Macomb Community College last week. And attending that and talking to people there, this effort was very much the talk of the expo, from what I could gather. And there were a lot of people very interested to see how this actually comes together. And they're pretty excited to see something so focused like this come together.
Very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So just again, I do think that this is something that's all benefit, or mostly benefit, very little, if any, negatives, and very much in favor. So thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Mrs. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. I'm in total support of this. I think the more we can do for the manufacturing, defense manufacturing communities within both Warren and Sterling Heights, and it does trickle outside of those two cities as well, we need to take advantage of this partnership. Warren has a different form of government than Sterling Heights, so we do have some differences and there's different nuances there. However, it's great to see our two communities come together. I just want to reiterate that we are not relinquishing any Sterling Heights city power to Warren, and they are not relinquishing any power to us. This is a totally split, even collaboration, and I'm really excited about the things to come. So I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Anyone else? Mrs. Koski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Jennifer Varney, please refresh my memory a little bit. The LDFA and the Smart Zone, what are their boundaries? Does that run from 14 Mile all the way up to, 18.5 mile road? For what we always call the industrial corridor, and exactly what does the Smart Zone cover? Does it cover all of that also? Where are the taxes being captured?
I'm going to let Mr. Bonner take that.
Thank you. Councilwoman Koski, yes, the Local Development Finance Authority District and the Smart Zone are essentially the same. So the district boundaries are Van Dyke to Mound, 14 Mile to roughly 18.5 mile. So that is the district. And then within that district, there are only 3 parcels that contribute to the tax increment financing. It's the BAE Systems parcel, Sterling Enterprise Park, and the very specific parcel, which is the Shap paint facility. Those are the 3 parcels that contribute to the tax increment financing, which those dollars can be spent throughout that entire district.
And what exactly do they capture?
Do you mean which taxes?
Yeah. Is
Pretty
it
much
everything?
So again, there's a base value, which off the top of my head, I believe was set in 2014. So any increase in taxable value over the base year is captured. And because it's a smart zone, we capture basically all taxes, city taxes, school taxes, county taxes. So we captured the taxes again, but only on the taxable value increase since the base year.
And that would be just those 3 properties. And as an example, our last tax increase for the PPP, is that captured
Yes.
all total
Well,
for
again,
those 3 properties?
on the increased taxable value since the base year, yes.
Okay, and how about Safe Streets, the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. That refreshes my memory, thank you. And one other question, the 5 members that are executive committee that are appointed, what is their term? Is that forever, for the 3 years? If this continues, will they just continue in their position, or are they term limited?
Defer that to Mark or Don.
Mr. Vanderpool?
Mayor, thank you. Councilwoman Koski, the initial term is for 3 years, so they would serve for that period of time. And then if the parties choose to renew, and the board, the respective councils and the mayor, with respect to their appointees, could choose to update them or replace them at their own prerogative.
So you can change the agreement, is what you're saying, or the council can change the agreement and say, you're good.
Not the
for it.
agreement, your appointees.
People.
At the
Okay.
end of their term.
Midterm.
The agreement doesn't call for any term limit at all.
It
So-
sounds like they serve at the pleasure of the Sterling Heights City Council and the mayor of Warren and the mayor and the Warren City Council.
That's the intent. That's the way it'll be. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Koski. Mr. Yanis?
Sure. We all have to talk, so I'll take a crack at it. This is a long time coming. I'm very happy to see this. I've been beating this drum for a long time now about Sterling Heights and Warren working together economically. As I've watched the city of Grand Rapids grow leaps and bounds out in the west side. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, you know, population-wise, if you throw in Centerline and Fraser, we're as large as the city of Grand Rapids. And we have a lot of economic power that we just haven't been flexing our muscle, and I think this agreement will help us do that. Obviously, defense is what we know, so that's a good place to start. I'm very interested and somewhat curious as this takes off, and I'm pounding the table, I'm sorry. As I'm going to keep my hands over here. As this takes off and we start getting companies to show some interest coming in from out of town, if that is going to sort of spur some of the things that we are lacking in this county. And when I say lacking, it's, you know, Grand Rapids has an airport, we don't. Grand Rapids has a much bigger mass transportation system, we don't. Grand Rapids has, and the Grand Rapids area has multiple four-year universities, we don't. Sorry, Macomb Community College, but that's, you know, I know we have a university center, but the fact of the matter is, there are things that we don't have here that we could, amenities that would definitely benefit the growth, economic growth of this area. So to have both the third and fourth largest cities in the state come together, not that we're in competition with Grand Rapids, but we certainly can emulate some of the work that they've done. So I'm happy this day is here. I look forward to the cooperation with the city of Warren. I do anticipate we're going to have some growing pains, but I think we can work through those, and I think that I think this is going to benefit not only the region, the county, but our state, and regionally, nationally, the Midwest region. So I'm very happy we're here, and I look forward to this this process. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yanis. Thank you, Mr. Vanderpool.
Mayor
Mr.
Taylor,
Bond.
can I
Yeah,
make
go
one
ahead.
more closing comment? I just want to thank City Council and Mr. Vanderpool for the investment in economic development. Recently, we have a lot of initiatives going on, so very much appreciate the support, and we are very excited to get all these launched. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bonner. It's our pleasure. There is, at this point, nothing but uncertainty in the global economy and the national economy. So I think we got to do what we can to shore up our local economy. We're doing that through our budget. We're doing that through this interlocal agreement. Proud to have been working with the city of Warren over the past couple of months to make this a reality. So big kudos to Mr. Vanderpool, Ms. Varney, Mr. Bonner, to the assistant city managers and the full team here at the city for helping to spark this initiative And thank you to Mayor Stone. Mayor Stone and I met with members of our team, her team, as Mr. Bonner said, with the MEDC representative, with the county representatives, and we've been hearing a lot of positive feedback about this initiative. So very excited for it. There will be a press conference later today at 1 p.m. So if you're out there watching this, hopefully you are, tune in for that. And that's it. So council, without anything else, all those in favor of this agreement indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Congratulations. And we will tune into the city of Warren and hope that they have the same success at their meeting. Communications from citizens, we'll move on from that unless any city employees here have something any tree issues, you guys? No, okay. All right, we'll close that portion of reports. Mr. Vanderpool, do we have a report?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Mr. Denault?
Nothing further.
Council, anything this morning? All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, no discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.